I know you clicked this video asking yourself, what type of clickbaity type of title is this video? Listen, I thought it was not real either. I'm a real estate agent, so trust me when I tell you, I was so certain that it is impossible to not have to pay for property taxes. But I would have you know, it is not impossible. There are a couple of ways that you won't have to pay property taxes if you qualify, and also if your state allows it. One thing I need to make very clear to everyone watching this video is that your state is different from everyone else's state. Okay, your local government may also have regulations that your state doesn't have, so you would need to do your own due diligence and your own research to make sure that you actually qualify for what I'm about to discuss in this video. Hey y'all, what's poppin'? It's your favorite Atlanta real estate agent, Dr. Yeti, and I am back with yet another gem of a video. Okay, if you're looking to reduce that monthly mortgage payment and you don't know what to do, you don't know where to go, I'm gonna tell you one way that you can reduce that payment, and that is by getting rid of them property taxes. Let's get rid of those property taxes. Let's get them out of the picture, okay? But unfortunately, not everyone qualifies for a tax exemption. Not everyone qualifies to be exempt from property taxes, and we're gonna talk about that in this video. So last week, I made a post on TikTok about property taxes, and I got some comments in my videos like talking about the fact that they don't pay property taxes because of some exemptions that they qualify for. And I was so sure that they were wrong. Like, okay, yes, there are some exemptions, but to not have to pay any property taxes at all, there's something that I don't know, that I don't believe. I don't believe it. And so I made some responses, and they told me, they're like, yeah, like we don't pay taxes because we have this, this, and this. And I was like, oh my goodness, I just learned something new. I didn't learn about this in real estate school at all. So it was beautiful. I love learning from my followers, and I was so in awe. I did my digging, did my research, and I was like, I need to share this with y'all on YouTube. So here's the information I was able to gather. So the number 5 way in which you can be exempt from paying property taxes is if you are permanently disabled. Now, I want you to remember, these are all state-specific disability benefits. So if you live in the state of Texas, for example, you can qualify for an additional $10,000 of exemption on top of the other exemptions that you may qualify for. If you live in the state of Florida, for example, you can be exempt for up to $500. If you live in the state of California, they have a postponement program for disabled residents. And if you live in the state of Georgia, they have a reduction in assessment value of your property. So all states are different. Remember that. So look into your state and determine what exactly are the exemptions in your state. Now, number 4 is if you have your property and you are using it for agricultural use. One thing I noticed as a realtor here in the United States, or not in the United States, in the United States, but in the state of Georgia, is that I noticed that a lot of agricultural properties get a lot of benefits, especially if you're looking at things like the USDA loan, which qualifies you to not have any money down on your property when you purchase it. So if you have the property and you wanted to use it for a ranch, you wanted to open up a poultry farm, you wanted to do some lumber or timber work, whatever it is that you do in that land as agricultural use, you can get a lot of benefits. So states like Florida, Texas, Georgia, they have some serious tax breaks. And these 3 states, you're going to notice that I mentioned them a lot in this video because they really do have a lot of exemptions and tax breaks for property owners. The 3rd way, number 3, numero 3, that you can be exempt from paying property taxes, or at least have a reduction in your property taxes, is if you are a senior citizen, which is if you're 65 years of age or older. So some states offer things like tax freezes, deferrals. They do exemptions altogether. You don't have to pay any taxes whatsoever. They may have a reduction in fees. So it really just depends on what state or even the local government that you live in. A lot of these things are location dependent. Number 4 is if you are 100% disabled veteran. If you're 100% disabled veteran, you have a lot of benefits. And one of those benefits include you not having to pay property taxes in most states in the United States. So if you live in the states of Texas, Florida, Alabama, Virginia, Hawaii, Illinois, Mississippi, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Arkansas, and Missouri, you can actually get 100% of your property taxes waived as a 100% disabled veteran. In states like Georgia, New York, Arizona, California, North Carolina, Colorado, and Tennessee, they offer partial exemptions. So you can still get exemption as a veteran, but there are some stipulations that come with them. Now, the states that don't offer any exemption whatsoever, we have Delaware, Arizona, Kansas, North Carolina, Colorado. Delaware offers like a tax credit. So if you don't know this, property taxes are collected to pay mostly for local government. So the school district, the police department, all of these things are paid for by your property taxes. And so the allotment or the allocation there's a calculation that comes with property taxes. And that's why location matters when you're trying to calculate property taxes, because the allocation for police department is different for the allocation for the school district, is different from the recreation. They're all different allotments. And so the location really matters in where you live. And so if you're an elderly and you live in Delaware, you will get a tax credit on the school taxes, right? And if you live in Arizona, your income and property limits can disqualify you. So even if you're 100% disabled, you can still get disqualified from getting this tax exemption. If you live in Kansas, you can get a tiny refund. It even disqualifies those rated 100%. So you can still get disqualified in the state of Kansas as well. In North Carolina, they only do a $45,000 assessment exclusion. So meaning if you have a $200,000 house, they will remove $45,000 from that house, and you will only have to get assessed on $155,000 on your home. So it's something, but it's not, it's not really significant. And then when you are looking at the state of Colorado, they only do 50% off up to $200,000. So basically, if you have a $400,000 house, $200,000 of that will be exempt for 50%. So 50% of that. So technically $100,000 of that $200,000 would be exempt from property taxes. So it's very interesting. Like I said, all states are different. So look into your particular state and see what exemption you qualify for. And last but not least, numero uno, the number one way where everyone, or most people, I want to say maybe like 90% of people with a home right now can qualify for, is the homestead exemption. You can qualify for homestead exemption if you live in the United States. Okay, for most states. So if you live in your home as your primary residence, you can file for homestead exemption. But states like Arizona, you don't have to file because you already filed. It already filed for you. So the moment you buy your house, immediately you've already technically filed for homestead exemption. States like North Carolina, if you are not a disabled veteran and if you're not elderly, you're not getting that homestead exemption, which is so unfortunate. It seems like North Carolina, they want their money. They're going to get their money today, by fire or by force. They're going to get that money. So North Carolina, they don't play about their taxes. They're going to get their money unless you are disabled or a disabled veteran, or you're elderly. And the beauty about homestead exemption, especially in the state that I live in, Georgia, once you file for homestead exemption one time, you don't have to file for it again unless you refinance. So I filed for homestead exemption a year after I purchased my home, because I didn't even know about homestead exemption. Okay. These are things that I didn't really learn about in real estate school. Right. And so I learned about it because of my experience as a homeowner. So I had to file for homestead exemption. My taxes did go down. So you can do it too. Look into your local government. I filed with my county. So I live in Atlanta, and I filed with the Fulton County assessors, and so that's how I was able to get my homestead exemption and get my taxes reduced. So definitely look into it and do your own due diligence. If you like this video and you would like to see more of me, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you like this video and share it with anyone you know that will benefit from what we talked about today on this video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.